Hello, welcome to Michelle Sews Again. I'm Michelle. So today I'm going to share with you how I cataloged and organized my fabric. So you may or may not know that I recently moved. As you can see, still lots of boxes going on, so not quite settled. But in my sewing room, one of the goals that I had was to catalog all of my fabric so that I knew at a glance what I had. And I was inspired by Mari from Mari Sews. She recently did this. She did it a different way. She used little like index cards and wrote everything down and put a little swatch on it. I did it the digital way. So I will link in the cards here. I don't remember. A video that I did where I organized all of my patterns in an app called Trello. Now, Trello is available as an app for your phone. It's also a website, and it's a cloud-based service. So whatever changes you make on the app on your phone appear in the desktop version on the website. So the reason that I find that to be helpful is that I do all the actual like loading and everything into the app on my phone. And then if I ever need to go in and modify things, I do that, well, depending on what it is that I'm doing, I might want to do that from my laptop. And I'll get into what I mean by that toward the end. So what I wanted to show you today is that I have all of my fabric and all of my patterns in Trello so that I can scroll through and kind of mix and match just from the comfort of my couch, things that I want to make and inspire myself to kind of think things a little bit differently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how I loaded one piece of fabric from start to end, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, so here we are. We've got some apps on my phone here, and you can see Trello is in the second spot, in the second row from the top. So we're going to click on Trello. And now you can see I've got two boards on my workspace. I've got a fabric stash and a sewing patterns. I'm going to click on fabric stash. And you can see here that I've already got some boards set up. So there's the woven. This is the first one that I've got. Then I've got specialty fabrics, which are like brocades and flannels and things like that. Then I have my knits. And then I have fat quarters. And then I've got things that I am going to put on Destashify at some point. So that's how I have them separated. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through adding a piece of fabric to my woven folder. So I don't know if you can see at the very bottom of the column that says woven, there is a little gray box that says add card. So I'm just going to click on that. And then you see the cursor is in a space where I can type out the description of the fabric. So I'm going to type in the description. And then I'm clicking add. And then you'll see it's just a description there. So now it's ready for me to enter some additional information. So I'm going to click on black and white graphic print cotton, and it's opening up the card. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add a description. I'm keeping it really simple. You can add as much or as little information here as you want. You could just do the description and a picture. You don't have to do any more than that. But what I have done is I am adding in the yardage and the width. So for this particular piece of fabric, I have 2 yards. And it is 27 inches wide. Sorry, I did all of my width measurements with the fabric folded, so this is actually 54 inches wide. So, and then I am also putting in the shop, if I can remember where I bought it. And this is from fabric.com. And I bought it in 2020. I don't remember the month. I'm getting as close as possible. And there's 2 more pieces of information that I want to add at a later date, and I'll get to that in a minute. All right, so, and then the last thing that I need to do is add a photograph. So when you click, at the very bottom of the screen, you'll see there's a little paper clip. I'm clicking on the paper clip, and then these are all the options that I get for adding any attachments. You could take a photo, but I want my photos to be cropped, and I haven't been able to figure out how to use the take photo option and crop the photo. So you could do it that way, but what I've done is I've taken the photo separately. So I'm going to choose from photos. And for some reason, this is so annoying. The only thing I don't like about this is the recent photos that you've taken are not in recents. You have to go to manage first, and then find the picture, and then come to recents, and then it should be in there for you to use. Oh, I lost it. Oh, there it is. All right. So now I've added the image, and you'll see that it's going to come up at the top as my cover page. Now, and then I'm done. So then in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see there's a little white X. So I'm just going to click on that and close it out. Now, one of the things that, there's 2 more pieces of information that I have not added to each card that I want to go back and add later. And that is the fabric content. So, what percentage of cotton, poly, whatever, rayon, or, spandex, whatever the fabric content is, I would like to add that where possible. I'm not going to be able to add that to everything because some of these fabrics are no longer available, so I can't. And I also want to add how much I paid for it. So going forward with new purchases, those 2 pieces of information will be included. For these past purchases, I will go through the websites, and that's when I mentioned that you can also use this app on your laptop. What I will probably do is sit on my couch watching TV with my husband in the evening and going through the website and clicking back and forth between Trello and the fabric shops and adding that information where I can. So that's it. That's all it takes to enter your fabric stash into Trello. So I've walked you through how I loaded one piece of fabric in the app, and I just did that one after the other. So it took me, for this fabric stash, it took me about a day and a half, and I just did it as I unloaded it out of the packing boxes. And I figured if I didn't get it done when I was unpacking, it was never going to happen. So I'm very happy. Now it's going to be easy to maintain. I'll add fabric to Trello as I buy. I'll take it out of Trello as I use it up. And so it should be easy to maintain. Now, what I will tell you is I have all of my fabric loaded in Trello, including sheets that I have thrifted. What I don't have in there are garments that I have thrifted. So recently I went on a thrifting trip with Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. I talked about it in Friday Sews. I'll link that up here if you're interested. And I did thrift some men's shirts in order to make a ruffle dress that's on my agenda at some point in the future. I'm not going to list those things because I can't really measure yardage and things like that. So I'm not going to do those. But everything else is loaded and ready to go. A quick note on my scraps. I went through my scraps before I moved, and I separated out all the itty bitty pieces that I was saving to make one of those closet core poofs. I had a full black like garbage bag full of those little bitty scraps, and that would have been enough to make a poof. I just didn't feel like moving it. So I threw all those out. So those went away. I did save any piece of fabric that was big enough to make a pocket out of, or bigger, but less than a yard. So that's my criteria now for keeping scraps. It's got to be a big enough piece to make a pocket, and it's got to be less than a yard. If it's over a yard, it goes in the fabric stash. If it's less than a yard, it goes in the scrap pile. So I took a note from Jen in Today in Jen's sewing room. She went through and organized all her scraps a couple of months ago, and I really liked the way that she did it, and it makes it so much easier to see what you have. So basically I just took it and I rolled it all up, and I'm going to link to Jen's video here rather than walking you through what I did. But I rolled up all of my scraps that, like I said, are less than a yard or bigger than a pocket. And I have another like full black trash bag full. And once I get this room organized, you'll see over here, I have a TV, and it's sitting on a TV stand that's as big as the TV, that has two side cabinets, plus the middle is open. And I'm thinking I'm going to use all of that to put all of my fabric scraps in. I'm just going to slide them in so that the end shows at the so I can just pile them all in there and stack them, and then I'll be able to see what I have in terms of fabric scraps. So that's it. That's what I have for you today. Wherever you are, I hope the weather's amazing. I hope you're able to get some sewing in. And if you're interested in this video, then check out this one right here, and I'll see you there. Bye.